I have to say, I believe they've really sold this house to me. I really enjoy it. It's such a creative outlook on everything. Anyway, I think I might... What was that?
Wait, You're the real estate agent?
Yeah, we kind of didn't have the budget for another puppet.
Oh. I mean,
Yes, I have my evil side. Anyway, let's carry on with the tour, shall we?
What? But hang on a minute, what was all that? What was the explosion? What was all that about?
Well, yeah, it's part of my quirk as a real estate agent to do that to people interested in buying this place.
You psychopath!
It's alright. It's just part of my personality. There is no place I know.
G'day lippers and welcome to the show! I've got to say before we start, I was one of those people that saw the film of Willy Wonka first rather than reading the book first, and honestly, seeing all this craziness was not the same thing as reading about it. Take Harry Potter. Many people enjoy the film version over the books, but far more people prefer the books over the screen adaptations. Why? Well, it's due to the fact that the filmmakers didn't really get the full scope of people's imagination and what they thought Hogwarts or the Wizarding World in general by Rowling was on the screen. With Roald Dahl's Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, however, I find myself bizarrely liking the film version of Wonka a lot more than the book. Yes, I know, shocking, but hear me out. Roald Dahl was indeed a talented author. His descriptives of Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, and even in other books, was extremely creative and unique. However, I truly do believe that the film adaptations really brought this book to life. And then some.
Come with me and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Using trick shots and clever cinematography, they were able to pull off the creativity in the book near flawlessly with the use of practical effects and illusions without that high-end budget. I think it really pays off because if this chocolate factory existed, this is what you would get in real life. No tricks, no CGI to hide behind. If you were a guest, this is what you'd get. I can't name another film based on a book to do it as well as this film did. Now, despite my hit or miss relationship with child actors...
Can't you shut up? I'm busy.
I do feel that they did a really nice job making each exaggerated characteristic of the book work perfectly. And as I said, the visuals kept all the right things from the book and relay that perfectly in my opinion. The scene where they enter the mixing room and start eating everything remains one of my favourite cinematic moments of all time. And it's indeed one of the best things about the film. The music, forget it, it's fantastic.
Who can take a sunrise, sprinkle it with dew?
It's whimsical, it's great, and it really captures the childhood vibe aspects that only seem to get better with fresh audiences with age, as more and more new adults get the same nostalgia at being a child again.
Boosh.
Gene Wilder, God rest him, was downright born to play this role. His quirkiness, obvious lack of people skills, and other great characteristics, despite being mostly negative aspects of a character, really work to ground the whole thing in realism to an overly unrealistic setting. Let's face it, to me, only the greatest actors can do this. Now, despite my opening, you may be expecting me to say something about the completely random break from the genre with the tunnel scene as they paddle a fun-looking boat through the tunnel, and, well, yes, I don't know what it was.
Can't you shut up? I'm busy.
I mean, was it to make sure the audience was awake? Was another director called in for that day and he thought he'd mess around with everyone? It is a really distracting element from the film because there isn't any other scene like it. And honestly, it seems really out of place looking back on it. However, despite it being totally random and nonsensical to the progression of the story, Gene Wilder goes with the moment of madness and expertly plays up to it. He plays up to the disturbing nature of the thing and it really works.
You know, for kids.
That aside, what are the true negatives of this flick? Well, there are several occasions that do seem out of place, like the random sing-along moments with the Oompa Loompa songs, of course the tunnel scene, but in my opinion, the ending was my biggest issue. The director seemed to know that the finish line was in sight, and to me, the whole bit where Wonka loses it at Charlie and his grandfather seemed very rushed. While well acted, the conclusion seemed very forced and very fast. What? That Wonka somehow knew that they would be alright after they nearly got torn to pieces by that fan? I don't know, something about it just doesn't seem right to me. It seems to get resolved in less than 5 minutes and it just doesn't feel that earned given all the madness we just sat through.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. My boy. You won. You did it. You did it. I knew you would. I just knew you would.
Overall, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory was made classic by Wilder. His take on the eccentricity of the character on the screen, in my opinion, brought the film to life. The colours and visuals from the film made back then were truly something very rarely seen. And to be fair, it's even rare to see it today, as most things just use CGI to cover up everything. Just like that other film, I can't quite remember what it's called. Nope, can't remember.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Okay, in all seriousness, I find it pretty bizarre that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory has more emphasis on Charlie, and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory has more things about Willy Wonka. And quite frankly, I think that the story should be on Charlie. The reason Willy Wonka's character worked was precisely because no one knew that much about him. How did he make his candy? How did he get the money to pay for a factory? How did he start off? Well, did we really need an answer? It's like telling us Doctor Who's real name or knowing what was in the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. Sometimes the imagination works far better in a film that, well, bases all its source material on the perspective and imagination from the mind of a young boy. Really think about this for a second. That's why all the emphasis should be on Charlie in this story. It's essentially him telling it from his 10-year-old mind. Imagine you were 10 and you visited a normal chocolate factory. Wouldn't you see strange and wonderful machines and sweet making processes that you'd never seen before? Wouldn't all that be like magic to you? You bet your butt it would. I scored this film 9.5 out of 10 Croc points, a truly classic tale told in a classic childish manner that only someone like Willy Wonka and Charlie Bucket could tell. Take care, little nippers. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and, if you can, support me on Patreon. See you in a while, crocodiles!
you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Can't you shut up